test. Right lads, what's the crack? I'm in Queens. I'm looking for the best pint in Queens / Brooklyn. I'm in a bit of a rush. I'm flying out tonight, so I've got 3, possibly 4 pubs. But let's go. We're on the fly, we're on the loose, come on. Right, that's pub 1, Maggie Mays, came very highly regarded from the Instagram account, New York State of Pint. I obviously went off all the recommendations, but that was more for Manhattan. This, I'm kind of going more with the ears to the ground, local people, local knowledge always tops anything else. It's a decent looking one, lads. A bit of a mad glass. Obviously used to have a Guinness stands in New York on it. It's still settling. The head is no bubbles in the head, which is great. Nice white head. Head's probably got, once it settles fully, the head will probably be a little bit big, but I'd rather the head be a tiny bit too big than the tiny bit too small. Sometimes the big head is because of the fact that it's too warm. This microphone is fucking all over the kip. But it looks like an absolute creamer, to be fair. Domage, Domeo and Julia. The best domage I have possibly gotten, yeah. Very good, very good. Let's launch it, lads. Last day in New York. Very cold. And it's funny, I was saying that the head was big, and that could be because it's too warm. It's definitely not because of that, because that is quite cold. Very cold indeed. It's tasty. Again, it's got that sort of twang. It's been an ever-existing theme along these videos of this slight sort of twang that I'd love to really investigate, but I probably won't, as to why did it have that bit of a twang. But very clean glass. We don't mind the logo being kind of worn. That's nothing to do with the cleanliness of the glass. It just means it's been through the dishwasher a million times. That's fine. I noticed, I don't know if they have the year. So when the glass is like M18, M20, that means the M just stands for the pint measurements, I think, and then the 20 just stands for the year, but I don't seem to see that on any of these glasses in America. Rocking the merch as per. Make sure you head and grab yourself some merch for Christmas. Link in the description. Decent pint, kind of not as creamy as it looked. Looks very creamy initially. The head is staying good. It's a fresh pint. It's just very cold, you know what I mean? Also, it'd be interesting to see are the price. I haven't paid for this yet. It'd be interesting to see are the prices any different out in Queens as they are in Manhattan, because Manhattan is crazy, like $10 a pint. I can't get over the coldness of that. It's far too cold. It's like borderline Guinness extra cold that they would have in the UK. It's pretty fresh, clean glass. Shtick is starting to form on the way down. It's always a plus. So something I'm always fascinated with, is like pub opening times, in terms of like this place is open since 2 o'clock. There's not a sinner in here, but it's kind of like, do pubs just open early and sacrifice those few dead hours? They only have to pay one staff member, and then it's worth it because it's busy later on. Like, it's a Friday now, but you wouldn't expect anyone to be in a pub at 2:30 on a Friday, would you? But if it was in Dublin, they would. But I suppose it's not like out here where we are, it's not a touristy area. All the tourists are just in Manhattan, so that's why the pubs in Manhattan are all open at like 10, 11 in the morning. Decent shtick, clean glass, head was a decent size, but for me, just far too cold. And taste was fine, a little bit of an aftertaste in the mouth now. I give it about a 6.4 out of 10. Grand, but just, yeah, freezing cold. Right, that's pub 2 of this Queens / Brooklyn escapade, the wolfhound.
I would love to see it.
That'll be the first time I heard that.
Yeah, it was cool. I actually, funny enough, I put it on.
Oh, star glass.
This isn't a fruit, this is fishing. He's fishing. I mean,
Tilt test. Oh, baby.
So that guy, right? And then that person probably sold that beer.
Lads, this feels like a real
And it's a success.
Guinness glass, but I didn't think they could. It's the first time I've actually seen. So we've had loads of the old style glasses in Manhattan, but they haven't had the Guinness logo on them because they just get bought in. They're not actually technically Guinness glasses. Now this seems to be a real Guinness glass. It says the year 2022, but you might not know, but they've actually started to make the old style glasses again since like last year or even like since this year. So you can get an old style glass with the year 2022 on it. So I'm very fascinated with this. Have they just plonked the Guinness logo on those bought glasses, or is this a real genuine Guinness glass? And if it is, why don't the other bars in New York have it? I mean, this is a very kind of simple, straightforward neighborhood bar. I actually quite like it. Just kind of brick wall, a couple of Guinness bits on the wall, you know, Christmas tree when you walk in. It's nice. It is nice. Do you know where you get the glasses? Is that a secret?
Matt, is it secret where we get our glasses?
Yeah, we just got them recently from overseas.
Okay. It's always very hush hush.
I was so dope because like we were very happy to get a whole case of them. So because we pay for that shape, you can't get them like that.
Yeah. So you spend money to get these, but you would get the newer one for free. But then this is a 2022, but they've actually started to remake the old style glass because people are calling out for it so much. So yeah. But this is the first one I've seen that actually has the logo on it. Anyway, he says they're getting them from overseas, but it's always a bit sort of hush hush. Anyway, I haven't even talked about the pint yet. Pint is good. Again, tiny bit cold, similar to the last place Maggie Mays. But I'm just loving the vibe. I'm loving the toucan with the Guinness pint resting on his beak. And I think it's a lovely little setup in here. Very warm, cozy bar, just a neighborhood bar. If I was going to live here, I'd love to live somewhere like this. Apparently Astoria is a very kind of up and coming, young, vibrant town, so it's not surprising I would like to live here. But yeah, no, it's great. Could be a little bit thicker. Yeah, I just, to be honest, I'm staring out the window. I really just love this area. I'm really glad I decided to venture into Queens and Brooklyn and not just Manhattan, because the vibe is completely different out here. It's just night and day, literally night and day. Decent bit of shtick. Happy with that. Definitely going to be in the 7s. Taste and creaminess could be a little bit better, but I'm very happy with that. I'd easily stick that down at the 7.2 out of 10. It's definitely worth coming to the Wolfhound in Astoria with what seems to be the first old style genuine Guinness glass I've gotten in New York, even though it's made in 2022, but they are remaking the old style glass, which also proves my point that the new style glass is going to be faded out within the next 5 to 10 years. You heard it here first. Right lads, we are now in Brooklyn. This is pub 3. Iona came very, very highly requested from some of the New York Guinness Instagram pages. Brooklyn, baby. We're around like the Williamsburg area, I think, but I have no fucking clue where I am. I'll put the address here. Jesus lads, that is clean. Such a fresh looking head. Right lads, we're going at a bit of a low angle here with the camera. Let's launch it. Again, this is more like the glasses I've been getting in the other pubs in Manhattan. So it kind of looks like an all-style Guinness glass. We can tell it comes out a little bit more at the bottom. Feels quite cold. Bellhaven Brewery on the glass, so that's not too great, but it does look good. Let's launch it. That's very much like the first one I had today in Maggie Mays. Very cold, but it's good. This is a very cool bar. I don't know, it's sort of dark, it's sort of mysterious. You've got like the steel, the gridiron steel, if that's even the right term, on the outside as you walk in. And you've got these weird little sort of, let me kind of show you where I'm sitting. sort of little like booths at the front. It's a cool bar. So I think we're in Williamsburg, which is kind of famous for having a massive Jewish population. Apparently that Netflix show Orthodox was kind of based or filmed or something close to around here. So it's gas with some amount of mad, random sort of Irish fucking American accents around the place. Can you hear the guy behind me? I think our building reps around it, like fucking, I don't know what the fuck we were talking, like fucking, that was not even a good impression. But having a great out time. Massive shout out to Johnny, so Johnny is the guy who runs the Westbury and the Long Haul. And again, this is not like a fucking ad for the Westbury Long Haul, nothing to do with that. And I went to do an episode of the Guinness Guru show, my podcast with him. I just wanted to interview him and see like, how do you move to America and then find yourself setting up an Irish bar and then another Irish bar in the middle of Manhattan, like, and he's a fascinating story. That will be coming soon, or it might have already been posted, I'm not too sure. But then he was like, what's your plan for today? I said, I want to go to a couple of bars in Queens and Brooklyn, but I'm quite tight for time, I'm flying out tonight. And he was like, right, I'll come around with you. There's no point driving because it would take 10 times longer driving than being on a train, but he was literally like, I'll come around with you. We're hopping on fucking trains, planes, he's putting me in Ubers, the whole lot. So because of him, he's the I probably would have only gotten to 1 or 2 places a day, but because of Johnny, we're absolutely zipping around the place, and hopefully we will get to Hartley's after this as well. And that'll be 2 in Queens and 2 in Brooklyn. And because I had the fear that I wasn't going to get, I was just going to do Manhattan. I don't think that would have been fair.
2 apartments.
Yeah, and that's a decent pint. Something I have to say is like, the Guinness is extremely consistent around New York. Like all these places you lads have been sending me, every single pint has pretty much been the same. I haven't gotten anything with a massive head or a small head. Like some of them have been maybe a little bit too cold. I haven't really gotten anything that was too warm. Glasses have all been clean, but I have to say the standard has been impressive. Then it kind of comes down to thickness, creaminess, richness, smoothness, all the nesses. But I have to say I've been quite impressed. Like compared to LA, man. Even some of the places that I went to in LA, like they were recommended. And they were still, I was getting plastic cups, and this was all during the day, I was getting plastic cups, I was getting, like they wouldn't dream, there's no such thing as a fucking Guinness glass or a tulip glass in LA. So yeah, I'm very happy with the standard here. You can really feel the sort of Irish inspiration here in New York City. But I'm just so glad that my good pal Johnny she's literally dragging me. We're hopping off one train, we're straight onto the other, he's fucking grabbing the door, opening it, make sure we get onto it. So I stayed in Queens, I've seen Queens today, I've seen Brooklyn today, and I suppose I would advise people, if you're coming for a trip, say you're coming over with the missus or whatever it is, just for a few days, Manhattan is brilliant, but make your way out to Brooklyn. Explore Brooklyn. This Williamsburg area is amazing. Explore Queens, Sunnyside. There's some really nice places and there's some really nice quiet neighborhood bars that you just wouldn't get that sort of vibe in Manhattan. So I would definitely say get on the subway and explore. Don't just stay in Manhattan for 3 or 4 days. Slightly cold for my liking. In the old style glass, but not technically a Guinness glass, not the same as the wolfhound that we were just in. Not much thick, but it was tasty, no bad aftertaste. It was pretty thick, pretty creamy. So maybe a 6.9 out of 10. Just about misses out on the 7 because it was quite cold. But a pretty decent pint. The Iona. Onto Hartley's. I'm expecting massive things from Hartley's. The camera probably only has one more pub in it. Right lads, the last pub 404 is Hartley's, and we're in Brooklyn. We kind of just passed through Williamsburg, and this is one of the maddest looking pubs. It looks like just a little like old deli or something from the outside. So I don't know, I'm fascinated to go in and see what it's like on the inside. Looks like an absolute creamer, to be fair. The beer mats are like these stone rock solid things, you'd bounce it off your head. Really tiny little bar, but anyway, sláinte lads. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. It was the most requested pub in all of sort of Brooklyn and Queens. First of all, I'm just gonna, I don't know what you can hear, I'm gonna go rogue on the mic. I mean, it's a mad pub. It really, it's as dark as anything. You can just about see me here. There's no sort of, there's an Irish fella working here and an American fella, but there's no sort of like Irish, it's like, I don't think it's an Irish bar, and I don't think they're trying to make it look like an Irish bar either, and it doesn't matter if it's Irish or American, I couldn't give a shit, it's all about the pint. But there's no wonder it's the most requested pint of Guinness, because it's actually lovely. They've absolutely nailed the temperature. The temperature in the last few places was a little bit cold, but you can hear the tunes. Like, this place is just like, I don't know, there's like a vibe off of this place that I've never seen before. You literally walk in, it feels like it probably used to be like a sitting room in a house, and they've changed it into a bar. Capacity must be about 30 people, even though they probably squeeze about 70 into it. But it's very, you walk in the door and the vibe changes. A very vibey, cool, kind of borderline grungy, but in a good way, pub. It's like you come here to forget about the world and forget about your problems. I don't know, it's very cool. I feel like I'm in a Batman movie or something. It's fucking deadly. Also got an Uber here from the Iona and drove through like the real kind of Jewish part of Williamsburg. Might be a weird thing to say, but that was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen, just to see a completely different culture, and the whole area is just that style of people. There's like no one else in the area, just for like 5 minutes to drive, and it's just the black and white clothes and the different hats and stuff. I'm trying to not sound weirdly disrespectful, but that was so fascinating. Yeah, this is a great point. Seriously, creamy, perfect temperature, and this bar is just fascinating. They've also got the Guinness, the red Guinness tap behind, which is amazing. But what I noticed on the tap is they've only got one handle. It's like the other handle has been like removed or something. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Doesn't have near as much as that sort of mad American twang that I was talking about. If you got that pint in Dublin, you'd be kind of happy enough. And again, the thing with the shtick, lads, I was reading up because I do my research. There's literally like by law they have to use this certain detergent, or they have to do something to the glasses, and unfortunately it means the shtick isn't going to be there, because the glasses are like ultra clean. And that's why, to be fair, even in Ireland you wouldn't be that surprised if you got a glass with all the sort of grease or like the wetness around it, but I haven't gotten that here at all, and it must be something to do with that, the way they're so fussy about the cleaning. So what are we saying? It's definitely the best one I've had today, and it's always a nice feeling when people recommend stuff, and the most highly recommended one is the best. And especially like the couple of different Guinness New York Instagram pages were saying Hartley's is a really, really good pint. And in a weird way, I love the fact that it's not like this big hodly Irish bar. You walk in, there's nothing Irish about the place. It's like this cool little downtown dark and grungy bar who just happen to have an incredible pint of Guinness. So I actually love that. So I would 100% recommend, lads, if you're going to, like, first of all, if you're coming to New York, I would totally recommend staying in Queens or Brooklyn, and then get the subway in. It's like 10-15 minutes. But if you're staying in Manhattan, yeah, I would definitely recommend to come out here, come to Brooklyn, come to Queens, because it's just so cool. But anyway, lads, that's been Hartley's. I haven't even given it a score. I will go. I'm gonna go with Keeping it 7s. It's got to be kept 7s. I think every fucking pint I've had in New York has been in the 7s. I'm going to give Hartley's a 7.8. A very strong score, a very good pint, and well justified that it was the most recommended pub in Brooklyn / Queens, and it was nearly one of the most. It was nearly the most recommended in all of New York. So, yeah, I'm delighted with that. What a cool little, mad little bar. I've never seen anything like it. Hartley's. Right, lads, that's going to wrap it up. Best pint in Queens / Brooklyn video. 4 pubs hit. Hartley's, that I'm right outside now, Hartley's came out on top with a 7.8 out of 10. A cracking pint. Again, like I said, if you're going to New York on a little holiday, you're fine. If you're going to New York on a little holiday, if you're going to be staying in Manhattan, make sure you come out to Brooklyn, come out to Queens. They're just so cool. Cracking pint in Hartley's. Thanks for watching along. We'll see you in the next video.